Best Anime Villains of All Time 2022. Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Why the Fact Not coming to all of you with a brand new video. What makes an anime villain? Sure, he or she may have a wicked laugh, a deathly stare, and a super evil master plan, but what makes a good villain instead of the bad kind? You have to like them, right? After all, you're usually rooting for them. Even though they are the bad guys, plus they often have the coolest powers. And you want to be just like them when you grow up. Like any list of the best anime villains, this one is subjective. But here is our list of the ones that we think are the most interesting, and sometimes even the most likable. First on this list is Mama Isabella, The Promised Neverland. This dark fantasy anime adaptation shows us an orphanage where children are raised as livestock to the demons that hunt and feed on human flesh. One of the most hated female anime villain to date, Isabella appeared to be a caring person who genuinely wanted to help children at the Grace Field House orphanage. When the twist is revealed that she's taking good care of these children to be high-quality food to save her own skin, we were shocked. When it was revealed that she actually did love these children but still chose her own skin, we were conflicted. Isabella raised a lot of eyebrows, but though she was villainous, she is easily one of the most impactful characters in The Promised Neverland. Second is Johann Liebert, Monster. Monster is a psychological anime series about a famed neurosurgeon that is burdened by guilt when he finds out that the one he chose to save some 9 odd years ago ends up as a perfect villain. Johann has an unusual and unsettling ability to fade into the background of any situation. Wherever he goes, people seem to forget his presence almost instantaneously, as if he never was there at all in the first place. His likable demeanor coupled with a modest appearance only exacerbates this effect. Most who see him for even just one moment will likely not remember anything about it later on, save from that brief encounter where they may have shaken hands or passed by each other without exchanging words. You might not be able to tell at first glance, but this man has a secret. He's been raised as the child of government agents trained in all sorts of ways. He is a master manipulator, using people's weaknesses to make them commit unspeakable acts and even kill themselves when they're at their most vulnerable state. He has an original goal, as he stated when he was young. He plans on being the last one standing at the end of all things. Johann creates a new fate for himself towards that end, and it's not what you might have expected. One of Monster's themes is how individuals are capable of transforming into monsters, with Johann often acting as either direct and indirect catalyst for these transformations, giving us one of the truly evil anime characters. Monster is a slow-paced psychological thriller anime that dives deep into the human psyche and handles dark and mature themes. A widely acclaimed one anime adaptation of a manga of the same name published in 1994. Third is Griffith, Berserk. Berserk is the story of one man's quest to find his own path while supporting another's lust for power. It follows Guts, a giant sword-wielding mercenary who joins and leaves an infamous band of mercenaries called the Band of Hawk, under their leader Griffith. As the leader of his own mercenary band, Griffith did nothing wrong in his pursuit of power with unparalleled efficiency. If it involved overcoming an army or assassinating leaders in a country to get what he wanted, then you better believe that this peasant-turned-legend did it without any hesitation whatsoever. In fact, when times were tough and there was no way out but forward, his friends would be right at his side as they made their trek into power. That didn't stop Griffith from seeking out his dreams. When given the option to become a demon and continue on in pursuit of those dreams, he wholeheartedly accepted it, even though this came at the cost of sacrificing not only everyone else's lives but also his own friends and allies. Yes, Griffith did nothing wrong. But to his allies he did them nasty. Fourth is Bondrewd, Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss is not the happy adventure anime it seems to be. Though there are plenty of chibi art and all, this series gradually reveals its dark side as Rico's and Reg's desperate ascent takes a turn for the worse, with death lurking around every corner they take. When you are talking about Bondrewd, it is not enough to simply say that he's one of the Abyss' most renowned explorers. Bondrewd is the embodiment of what it means to survive in a world where there are no boundaries. No matter how much pain he inflicts on others, or how many lives he takes for his research, Bondrewd will stop at nothing until all secrets of the Abyss has been uncovered and revealed. He has been inflicting the suffering of dozens, if not hundreds, of people, and even more still will suffer. That is why his reputation even reaches several hundreds of thousands of feet above, with his ability to survive the horrors of the abyss by any means necessary. Bondrewd has become one of anime's most iconic villains. A conqueror seeking domination over everything that crosses his path, he can rise as an all-time greatest anime villain if he could sink any lower. A conqueror seeking domination over everything that crosses his path. Fifth is Rise Kamishiro. Tokyo Ghoul, the binge eater's purple hair and beauty often enchanted others, but her eating habits lead to her defeat. And while she could always easily charm everyone else around her, no creature wanted to be on bad terms with the binge eater. Nearly every opponent died who opposed Rise. Her rampage ended when Kanao captured Rise in order to obtain her kakyus. She may not be that evil, but she is one of the hottest female anime villains. Sixth is Shogo Makashima, Psycho Pass. There are few anime that have gained as much popularity and success in the West as Psycho Pass. Set in a dystopian Japan, Psycho Pass depicts a world in which the government has figured out a way to detect a person's criminal tendencies via Psycho Pass process. This test determines a person's likelihood to become a criminal and assigns a certain crime coefficient to an individual, which determines how much they say they have in their lives. Shogo Makashima is a former enforcer of Unit 1 and a hacker. Makashima is also a member of the Sybil system and an associate of Cassie. When Shogo Makashima was introduced in the first season of Psycho Pass, he was barely a footnote in the show's storyline. But in the second season, Makashima quickly became the most memorable antagonist in the show. He is a master criminal who can manipulate people using the Sybil system, and a character who did not know of good and evil, desire and honor. Seventh is the Major, Hellsing Ultimate. Hellsing Ultimate is an anime adaptation of a long-running manga series by Kouta Hirano. Gonzo originally created the series in the early 2000s, but it was decided that the anime would be done in collaboration with Madhouse, a relatively new studio at the time. As its title suggests, the series begins with the vampire Alucard, who works for the Catholic Church as a vampire hunter. The series has been praised for its art and writing, but the biggest draw is the antagonist. The Major Sturmbannführer is the main antagonist and the leader of the Millennium. He is a short, calculating, and utterly ruthless Nazi officer whose unremarkable appearance and polite demeanor mask a psychopathic mind that delights in all forms of cruelty and carnage. He commands with a good-natured attitude, which can change in a moment to cruelty or grandiose elation. Fun fact: the Major's infamous "I love war" speech may have been inspired by the total war speech given by Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels in 1943 as the tide of World War II began to turn on the Axis powers. Eighth is Kyuubi, Madoka Magica. This creature is anything but cute. It's a manipulative, selfish being that seems innocent at first glance. His race, the Incubators, essentially treat humans like farm animals. They use human souls as the source of their magic and are sure that they are simply ensuring entropy doesn't get out of control, which is not an evil intention in theory. If Kyuubi has his way, the universe will continue on with only a few individuals left. He also seems to be very amused when he forces girls into contract. Ninth is Junko Inoshima, Danganronpa, the animated adaptation of the popular murder mystery visual novel series by Spike Chunsoft, released initially on the PlayStation Portable, drags a group of high school students into a life or death game. It's up to the students to put their heads together and solve the murders of fellow students before they are killed. The game's hook is that the students are placed into an elaborate death trap by the Blackened, a person who has committed the most heinous crime in the country, murder. If the students can solve the Blackened's murder and identify who the Blackened is, they win the game. But if not, the Blackened gets to kill them all. Junko can cause nearly anyone to fall into despair, and she revels in the despair felt by herself and others. Using her talent as the super high school level analytical prowess, she could detect everyone's weaknesses and use this information to manipulate or even exploit people around her to do her bidding. This was demonstrated by how she could prevent the Warriors of Hope from committing suicide and persuaded them to join her in spreading despair by killing adults. That power move makes her one of the best female anime villains out there. 10th is All for One My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia was first released in 2014 and revolved around a world of superpowers, where 80% of the population has some kind of ability, known as quirks. The series focuses on Izuku Midoriya, one of the 20% of those without a quirk. However, he still dreams of gaining the ability to help the world and enrolls in the prestigious UA. UA High School is a school that teaches young superheroes. The series explores not only how Izuku acquires his powers but also the theme of heroes and villains, as well as the history of the world. Plus, the vast majority of the characters are charming and lovable. Villains are often the most colorful and compelling characters in anime since they often have unique motivations and goals. One of the most interesting in the recent My Hero Academia series is All for One, who is the leader of the League of Villains, a group of villains that works to bring about the downfall of the world's superheroes. His goal is to create a world without quirks, and he believes this can only be achieved by eradicating everyone with a quirk. He has manipulated many of the hero's most formidable foes into joining his cause to accomplish this. And last is Garou, One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a 2015 anime series that was widely acclaimed by fans and critics. It is a parody of the superhero genre. It frequently makes references to other superhero shows, including the big three of the superhero genre: DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and Dark Horse Comics. The show follows the story of Saitama, a superhero who accidentally gains powers and becomes the strongest hero in the world. The series is a comedy with a lot of dark humor and is well received for its art, writing, and fight scenes. Garou, known as the Hero Hunter, is a famous hunter-warrior who's dedicated his life to ridding the world of all superheroes and supervillains. As a child, he was enraged by the hypocrisy he saw amongst those who considered themselves heroes and still preyed upon the weak. He sought to end this new society by taking down the heroes even if he had to live up to being a villain. And that is it, guys. This is the list of the best anime villains of all time 2022. Hope you all like this video, and please don't forget to smash that like button. And you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you will be updated on my next video upload. Mega love shout out to my premier team, Team Aspiring, and all its very active and supportive members. This is why the fact not see you all on my next video. Thank you for watching.